So I've been looking at a lot of the OCG with the new release of the Link Reigns Pack 2. And I have definitely been wanting to talk about the power of the new Magical Musketeer Max. Now, everyone already knows that the Six Samurai Link monster is broken and it's already rising to competitive play in the OCG. But what about this guy? So fundamentally, when you make a deck like Magical Musketeers or Magic Bullet in the OCG, the way that the deck works is it revolves around the constant searching of spells and traps and things like that, and just kind of taking advantage of the engine itself. So the best way to kind of make the deck good is you had to make a Link 1 monster. And of course, the new Magical Musketeer Max, it's a 1 level 8 or lower Magical Musket monster. Kind of makes me wonder if they're ever going to produce a Link or a larger monster like a Synchro or something. The summoning conditions for that make me question it. But during either player's turn, you can activate Magical Musket spells or traps from your hand. Cool. If this card is Link summoned, you can activate one of these effects. So, bada bing, bada boom. So, you can add Magical Musket spell and trap cards with different names from your deck to your hand up to the number of monsters your opponent currently controls. So, if your opponent has a full board of monsters, enjoy searching for up to, 6 or 7 different spells and traps. And then you can special summon Magical Musket monsters with different names from your deck up to the number of spells and traps your opponent currently controls. And then, of course, you can only use this effect of Magical Musketeer Max once per turn, because they do not want you getting a free load off of this guy. Like, could you imagine being able to make multiple copies of these and kind of capitalizing on full advantage of this? Now, the biggest thing I heard with the release of Max was now we can play the bad Magical Musketeers, the ones that did not really generate advantage for you. Now, this list is not really taking advantage of the bad ones. I think that's kind of the thing that's a little bit more unique about Magical Musketeers. They had a very good engine that allowed you to plus. I mean, cast bar searchability is one of the best things that this deck had going for it. Now, when you add something like Max into the fray, though, you raise that consistency bar from, down here to about up here. Now, up here still doesn't get us way up above, my camera of making things all that more consistent, but adding a little bit more onto the pile definitely makes things a little bit better. So, we take what we can get in terms of adding more into that consistency pile. The deck is still a column-based deck in terms of taking advantage. And a lot of the generalized tools, Last Stand had this card been able to, negate monster effects. Konami listening? We still need a monster negator. We could have probably seen some real issues kind of coming across the table here, but they did their best to kind of not make this unbreakable force. They knew what they were doing. And then, most of the spell and traps have those once per turn restrictions. So let's dig on into the deck profile here. 2 copies of Ash Blossom, pretty much mandatory. The OCG knows their limitations. They know what they're doing with these things. I can't really blame them too much for giving us limitation. 1 copy of Ghost Bell, 1 copy of Ghost Ogre. I perfectly am okay with these being 1-ofs in the deck, especially in the OCG. Things are a little bit more different. Obviously, here in the TCG, I think you can still get away with the same ratio. It just kind of depends on what your environment gives you to play things. Now, Glow Bulb is just the insane nuts in the OCG. Literally, normal summon Glow Bulb into Link Karibo, bring back the bulb into Needle Fiber summon, Ghost Ogre. It starts an entire engine in itself, and the card is so ridiculous. But, hey, having access to Synchros is always cute, right? Now, the heart and soul of the deck, cast bar, giving you the ability to activate Magical Musket spells and traps from your hand. If a spell and trap card is activated in this card's column, you get to add a Magical Musket from your deck to your hand. But not the same name as a card that was activated. So they are preventing you from essentially using the same stuff. Now, we are also playing triple copies of Doc. Remember, during either player's turn, you can activate Magical Musket spells and traps from your hand. If a spell and trap card is activated in the same column as this, you can add a Magical Musket card from your graveyard back to your hand, but not one of the same name that has been activated. So this is going to be your graveyard recursion. This is pretty standard for the deck, honestly. Now, we are playing triple copies Kid Brave. Same thing here, ladies and gentlemen. You can activate magical musket spells and traps from your hand. If a magical musket is activated in the same column as this, or if a spell and trap card is activated in the same column as this, you could discard a magical musket and draw 2. Alright? Anyone like free draw engines? Hello? Recursion, draw power, searchability. And then, of course, triple copies of Magical Musketeer Starfire. Same thing. You can activate them from your hand during your opponent's turn. Cards activated in the same column as this, you can splash summon 1 level 4 lower magical musket monster from your deck in defense mode. And of course, you can only use this effect Starfire once per turn. They don't want you recurring out multiple Starfires, and I can't really blame them for that. Triple copies of Instant Fusion. Millennium Thousand Eyes Restrict is pretty cute. Theseus is pretty cute. Honestly, Theseus, the fact that everybody except for Starfire is level 3 in this deck, making Boral Savage Dragon off of 1 instant fusion after you get the search is actually really fucking cute. Like, having access to Boral Savage and Omega in the same deck is really good. Now, we're playing triple copies of Cross Dominator, or Cross Domination. If you control a Magical Musketeer, target a face-up monster on the field, change its attack and defense to 0, and you get to basically blank its effect for the turn. So, you have free built-in negation, which is really good. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Let's be real here, you have real reason not to be playing this card. Now, triple copies of Desires, you want to maximize your resource pool as much as possible. You are playing a deck that does require some sort of resources. So, of course, like, this will automatically trigger all of your guys too. So, I definitely like that. Now, Ties of the Brethren, pay 2k, target a level 4 lower, slash summon as many copies as you want from that deck, but, I mean, you don't get a battle phase this turn, so that's fine. Like, I have no real complaints about this either. But this just sets up for the big board for what you want. 2 copies of Upstart Goblin, very interchangeable if you want to play a TCG version. Same thing with the Dropping Glow Bulb. Now we're playing triple copies of Dancing Needle. If you control a magical musket monster, go ahead and target 3 cards in the graveyard, or up to 3, and you get to banish them. Now, Desperado, if you control a magical musket monster, target 1 card on the field, destroy it. It has to be face up. No real disappointment for that. I do like my free advantage. And then Last Stand. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a magical musket monster, go ahead and negate it and destroy that card. I really wish that this did negate monster effects, but, you know, can't be too biggie in our choices. Now, the extra deck down here, of course, 1 Trisbania, 2 copies of Magical Musketeer Max. No real reason. Hey, I understand you can max out on this, but 2's fine. 1 copy of Link Karibo, only because we're trying to feed into the old Needle Fiber shenanigans. I mean, if you have such a broken card like Needle Fiber, why would you not try to abuse it as much as you can? Now, this deck does play 1 copy of Dweller, and I understand you can instant fusion out the other target with the Starfire to make this. This is actually not a really bad call. You are a toolbox-esque deck, so you don't have any reason not to be playing things like this. And of course, Wonder Magician for the level 5 tuner. Omega for pinging cards from your opponent's hand. Now, I was talking about earlier, you can bring out Boral Savage Dragon by using something like Musketeer Max already in the graveyard. You do have existential abilities to climb link ladders here, so putting Boral Savage Dragon on the field is not an impossible task. 1 copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict for normal sucking up. 1 copy of Theseus for that tuner. Mud Dragon, of course, and then 2 copies of Millennium Thousand Eyes Restrict for more of what I was talking about earlier. You gotta make sure that you can negate certain effects. And then, of course, we have 2 copies of Brinkatops. That Special Summon Cyber Dragon Claws is really good. 1 copy of Ghost Spell. I can't wait to get this card. Like, this card is so good. Like, getting more draw power and then putting a wall on the field is so good. Triple copies of Maxi. I mean, it's the OCG. You need to be playing this. 2 copies of Skull Maesty, of course, for Graveyard Negation. 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. And then, of course, the Heat Resistance. The big Gozen match. Like, this card is so stupid. Floodgates. Let's see here. Seam Attribute. Light, 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 light. Oh, he's Earth. but this is what, oh no, oh no. But it's cool because, you know, Max is really cool. So obviously, you probably make something like Omega. But you do have your options, and I mean, Skill Drain will, or Goes a Match will fix some of your shittier matchups for you guys. So, guys, what do you think about the first Magical Musketeer list we kind of seen come out of Japan? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'm looking forward to seeing where this deck goes in the future. All right, guys, peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a Truffle Shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanco40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.